Happy New Year, Mustang fans. We're back. Pony Hoops Insight, episode 5. I'm Jarrey Foster. We have Nick Moore, Shawn Williams. What's up, fellas? How we doing?
Great. How you doing?
Doing
Happy
well,
New
man.
Year.
Doing good.
Yes,
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Yes, indeed. 2025. Yes, sir. It's a new time, man. New Year, always good things, man. Y'all got any, I know it's cliche to say, but any resolutions, any things y'all want to kind of work on or want to see in the 2025 personally?
Not really, man. It'd be hard to think about the future when you be dealing with these kids and all the craziness, the schedules and stuff, sports going on and whatnot. So I mean, just good health, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
Mine is I want to listen better to my players, and not be so much of a dictator, but be more of more inclusive to their thoughts. I say that, but tomorrow I'm gonna be like, "F this."
Yeah,
F
about to
go back. I'm saying that today, but yeah, but that's what.
As long as you're thinking about it.
Yeah,
right. There you go.
That's facts. That's facts. And for me personally, is patience. Just want to add patience into my daily walk. And speaking of patience, Mustang fans, we appreciate y'all for being patient with us. Coming back with another episode and to talk about basketball, SMU basketball, the landscape of the team, coaching staff, the culture, and just bringing back, like we said, just an opportunity to connect not only with former players, but to talk about how our current players and future players will be a part of this culture in the future. So new year, new hoops. Well, new year, more hoops. And we have a perspective on this team right now. Do y'all have some type of quick feedback on just like where the team is? 4-2 over the last 6 games. And we beat Virginia, LSU, Boston College, and Longwood, and then dropped 2 in ACC play to Duke and UNC. But from an overall perspective, do y'all have any feedback of just how the guys have been looking and any initial feedback?
Man, I think for me, I'm just hoping and praying, which I know it's gonna happen, but just hopefully over the next couple of ACC games that we can get it going, man, and figure it out. I know it's hard coming up ACC play with Duke and Carolina the first games, but I'm hoping in these next, against Georgia Tech and after that we can kind of figure it out.
I mean, I like playing both of those caliber teams early in the ACC play. Give us a standard to where we want to be at. So now when we go through the rest of the ACC conference, some of those other games we can kind of look back and see how the teams beat us, how we can kind of mimic on areas that we can overcome and maybe be victorious. But I can see us going on 5-6 game win streak now after playing those caliber teams to see what we really need to do.
Yeah, and that's a big point. You say that, Nick, is like scheduling wise, I think that's beneficial to the team. To schedule those 2 caliber players, meaning 2 caliber teams at the beginning at the new year, and you have this whole stretch to kind of debrief that and figure out what you need to do from that point. But Coach Enfield overall is doing a good job, a really great job just with the team and just coming into a situation that has such a strong culture of winning at home and just being a winning culture team. I feel like he's coming in first year, new recruits. You have sources like NIL and different factors that play a part. And that takes a lot more than coaching, and it really takes psychology. So, I mean, both of you all are high school coaches. How much does the communication, psychology, and Shawn, you were talking about that a little bit, just what you would kind of want to get better at is not being just more of a dictator on the court, just more of like, how can you connect with your players? How much does psychology play into winning and communication with your players?
Man, I think, and I'm only 34, but I think this is just a different generation and it's a different group of kids. So how we played the game, how we were coached and how we were taught is so different now. So and not to knock them, but I mean, they are softer. It's just they got so much more at their hands with the cell phones and technology and social media. It's different, it's no knock on them. It's just what it is now. So you have to be kind of Dr. Phil in the sense to be in touch with more on the feeling side, because if not, your players are shut down on you. They won't go as hard for you. and they'll always be worried about some other stuff. So especially nowadays more than ever. You know, back in the day, you do it because the coach said do it. Now the kids want to know why or how it can benefit them, or they want to feel good to do it. So this is definitely different now.
They definitely want to know the answer why. I feel like in this generation too, they're very, very sensitive, you know, but I think it plays a part where you got to have all types of coaching. You know, I always tell the guys, you know what I mean, when I'm talking to them, I'm going to give you tough love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to be straightforward with you. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to just give you the 100% real, you know? So I think that goes a long way, but when somebody needs to be told in a different manner, sometimes it needs to be like that so they understand that it's not a game to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like sometimes I feel like these young guys are just out here to play. You know what I mean? Like that was our identity. That was our DNA. That's something that we love. We breathe. Like that's how we feed our family. You know what I mean? They don't think like us, but it just goes back. I talked to Coach Brown not too long ago, and he was just like, Nick, you got to understand that not everybody is going to have the same passion as you guys do for basketball. Wow. So that kind of like sank in with me a lot to think about. But, you know what I mean? I'm hard on the guys. I tell them the reason why, but then I also love on them, you know what I mean, to encourage them, to give them confidence. So it's kind of like you know what I mean, putting ingredients in the bowl and mix it up.
A little gumbo, man. Nothing wrong with a little gumbo.
Especially in this weather.
No days. But yeah, man. Now, and then speaking on LB, man, like that's what he was able to coach us, but also at the same time, that's what I like, the psychology and the communication. At the same time, he's coaching us as basketball players. The same sentence he says can work in life. And he doesn't have to say it in two separate stances. It's almost like, all right, if this is how it is on the court, this is how it's going to be in life. So we were able to adjust ourselves by using the game of basketball to be better men, to show up in our relationships and show up in our families the right way. But it's all encompassed with the game of basketball. So with being leaders in our own homes and our own spaces, like being vocal, like is very, very important. Like the Duke game, before we break down the ins and outs of it a little bit, the Duke game was the first really sold out game in Moody, you know what I'm saying, this year and really in a long time. So that atmosphere, somebody has to be able to control the game. Somebody has to be the vocal leader. Somebody has to be that foundation and that rock. Even though they didn't play the best against Duke, Nick, who did you see that was out there that was like trying to play that role of the vocal leader and kind of just trying to keep the guys in togetherness?
I mean, I feel like Boopy does a good job. You know what I mean? He was trying to get the guys going, you know, huddling a little bit. Just it's more like just relaying the message, you know what I mean? But I want to see guys like take it into their own hands sometimes. You know what I mean? Like coaches over there to give you a game plan. But sometimes, you know what I mean? Like we seen it different sometimes on the court out of a player point of view, you know? So I would like to see more of that. But I mean, I feel like him and Matt's the glue guy to our team. Real talk. You know what I mean? So it's like, but he kind of does it more with his actions. You know what I mean? Other guys kind of follow his lead. But we need a couple vocal leaders. You know what I mean? Somebody that's just relaying all types of messages. Communication is the key to basketball, really. But then we also need somebody else to have that person's back.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So it's just like because you can get lost in the moments. You know what I mean? So, because some games just get crazy. You know what I mean? Crowd, you just get lost in the sauce. You know what I mean? You're not really thinking ahead. You're just in the moment, and that happens to players sometimes. But I just wish we would just establish a vocal leader, but that guy on the court that everybody just listens to and buys in.
That's big.
To piggyback off that, I think at every team you need in a sense, a positive leader and the one that's like, but you need an a-hole leader too, and the one that you know that can kind of maybe string you around the neck or get guys ready. You know, you need a little Nick Moore that's a little crazy. You know you need a leader that can go nuts, and then you need a positive guy to be like,
and then you need you guys, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hold it down.
Sure.
But that's what a team is. It's like, and the more communication you have, the more conversations you have, those roles will start lining up just based on personalities, experiences, different things like that. But on this team, they do need to find that guy that's going to be like, you know what, F it. Like, I'm doing it. Like, I'm going to take that shot and I'm going to make it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what that next step is for a couple guys. But like we're saying, Matt Cross is the anchor, and he does a good job in multiple areas. But his role will not be that go-to guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's kind of that.
Right. He's going to help us win, but he's not going to win the game for us.
100%.
You know what I mean? And that's okay. That's okay. But kind of just like we were talking about, man, like we were always huddling, you know what I mean? Making sure everybody was good, like we talked about before we went on air. But like high fives, you know what I mean? Smack of the butt. It's okay. Hustle back, you know what I mean? And then like Shawn said, I was that a-hole. Make sure everybody was doing their job. I was coach on the court, but then you guys also, after I got done saying whatever I was saying, it was like you did it in a better manner. You know what I mean? You guys kind of like relayed my message in a positive way. So then we just went out there and did it.
Yep, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I feel like looking back, man, watching all these games, I don't think there's a group like us anymore.
Yeah. No, and that's just,
I don't know. I might be biased and just being with y'all, but like, you know what I mean? And like, for instance, you know what I mean? Like I know Peyton Siva real well, and he probably would say the same thing about Louisville, right? But I just feel like it's that culture, and I feel like we had a form of culture that couldn't be broke. You know what I mean? So it's
and what I'm hoping, man, is overtime, and this is the coach's first year. So overtime after the staff is there for a little while, and after he's there for a little while. I know the players change a lot more than they did when we played. But man, I'm hoping so. And I have to do a better job. And I think this is when the old heads have to come back and kind of try to teach these guys a culture. Like, look, man, you playing for something bigger than just yourself. Like this, you know, y'all team, Nick, the year after I left was what, 30-0 before y'all lost a game or something like that. Y'all,
18,
you know,
we were 18 last
18-0 last team.
Yeah, like that stuff means something. You know what I'm saying? And to make it to the tournament, that stuff means something. You playing
giving
for
me
more
goosebumps right now, bro.
Yeah,
you know
man.
I mean?
Like that stuff. So and that's kind of on us. Go back and let them guys know, like, look, man, y'all making money now, but at the end of the day, you playing for us. We the old guys now. You playing.
I mean, maybe we need to plan a trip down there and go talk.
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean?
And that's
but it's like it started like. But what's crazy is like we took initiative to where it started in the locker room before season and just said like, what are we gonna do? We can't go to no tournament.
Yep.
So what are we gonna do as a group? Are we just gonna go our separate ways? Like we really broke this down in the locker room.
No, for real. I remember having talks. Like,
are we gonna go our separate ways and everybody just like we go out there and we just play and everybody try to get theirs and it's miserable, or are we gonna try to play for our own purpose?
Yes, that's it.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's like, but everybody like we hashed it out. We had real life tough conversations.
Yep.
And then everybody came to a bigger picture, just like you said, you know what I mean? We thought about the bigger picture. We playing for that SMU
bottom line.
You know what I mean? Like that's what we represent. And I always remember like Coach Brown always saying like, you guys are playing for that school and then your name on your back of your jersey.
Exactly.
And that's a huge part that people don't understand is you're part of something bigger than yourselves.
And
that all aspects.
And that's the honor. That's like what makes you play harder. It's like, all right, man. Like number one, out of gratitude, I'm not even supposed to be here. And this is to all the fan supporters. Like when you're coming into a basketball player's experience, the reason why we play basketball is much more. We love the game, but it's much more outside of ourselves. Like we have families to take care of. We put certain pressures on our back to be great players, to come in and play at a high level, not only for our own self-recognition, but for the honor of being able to leave a legacy somewhere. And that's why we're on this podcast right now, because we were able to build a legacy, maintain it, and then also keep the relationships in order and the fan base in order, to the point where we could come back and give. So like what we're trying to do with these these guys is like organize that culture. And I was able to watch these guys. They played a great game against Virginia towards the end of the game to pull away. Won 63-51, Oquendo with 21 points. But Virginia is such a slow offense. You had to be very, very meticulous and very, very smart about how you guard them and how you pace the game.
Right.
Slow pace. But what I saw them against LSU, there was a stretch of the game where there was like 2 lobs thrown, 1 Oquendo, and then Matt Cross coming downhill, knocking down threes, and then everybody's just kind of playing in that flow. We're getting out in transition, knocking down threes, and be able to open that game up to win 74-64. It just gave me a reminder of like, okay, they have the capability of playing at that level. How can we get that instead of just 7 minutes of a stretch? How can we get that to 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you know what I'm saying, 30 minutes specifically out of the game? So I think they have a good chance to continue to build in the ACC. But looking at that Duke game before we go into UNC, like obviously you got players like Cooper Flagg coming in and number 7 really respect, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they, and even their other wings like Proctor and you know what I'm saying, Foster coming in, like those guys they played at such a pace that like the ball was swinging side to side. And that was one of the main things with LB, and just like it's hard to guard a team that moves the ball side to side and knows what they're looking for. And then you got players that can knock down shots. So like what could have we done better to kind of slow down high caliber players and high caliber offenses like that?
Man, I think you always can, as far as from an intensity standpoint, I think we could have been locked in a little more, but I think it's just so hard to tell, because at the end of the day, man, Cooper Flagg is going to be the number 1 or the 2nd player in the draft. And not saying that we're supposed to lose or supposed to bow down to him, but when you got guys with talent and they play the right way, you know, if we not on our game and playing at a high, everybody's not playing at a high level. I mean, that's what's going to happen. And in order for us to beat a team of that caliber, it has to be a locked in-ness. It has to be some nuts. It has to be some heart. It
there
has
you
to be
go.
everybody really embracing the moment.
Really break it down to him.
I'll talk to him.
Come on.
Because
we're gonna
we
gonna do it,
bro. You just kind of want to play against a team like that, you ain't gonna get it done.
But my thing is, bro, if you was on that court and somebody like Cooper Flagg was coming in, bro, you taking that personal, bro.
For sure. Because he played my position. I would have.
But what I'm saying, though, like you would have been arguing. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, bro. It's just like he got a big target on his back, so it's like they should have been licking their chops to guard him.
No, for real.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm not knocking Cooper Flagg, bro. He is an amazing player, especially to be that young.
Yeah.
But his jump shot ain't like that.
Right. Yeah.
Come on, let's break it down, bro. His jump shot's not like that. So I feel like you could have implemented some things to how you was gonna guard him a little different.
Yep,
you know what I mean? Like we pressuring up on him, shit. He can dribble, he can go by you, dunk on you. Give him something else to think about.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Settle with them hard 2s. Settle with them hard 3s.
He made a couple hard 2s, but he's not gonna beat us off that.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's stuff like that, and then it's like, bro, I study the game a lot more that I'm not playing no more. I don't know why I was a hooper, but now I study that. So it's just like I just see it differently now, in a different view. But like I said, does that mean we're gonna stop him? No, but we got to give him different things to look at. Can't give him the same option to look at. You know what I mean? But sitting there and seeing him up close, bro, for how young he is and how mature he is of talking, like. He was doing this the whole game.
Respect. Yeah.
Like it was crazy to me, bro. Set a screen and somebody came off it and he was yelling at him before he came off of it. Shoot it.
Easy.
You know what I mean? Like that's giving anybody the confidence, knowing that I'm good. So as soon as I catch the ball, shoot it.
And I got somebody on my team that wants me to. Yeah.
But I feel like, man, we was doing a good job, but then they just started putting us into early ball situations. They was just setting early screens. Right. And then we had to play off of rotations, but we weren't doing this on defense.
Right.
So it's hard. It's hard to rotate when we don't know where I'm going.
No, that's true, man. And I think kind of I think and definitely would never criticize coach or anything, but I think when you have a team, and one thing I loved about Larry Brown is even when he coached in the NBA, he put certain guys on the floor that was specifically role guys for certain reasons. Like George Lynch was never going to shoot the ball. I was never going to shoot the ball. Eric Snow was never going to. But they rose whoever the best player was, they was going to guard. George Lynch was going to guard the best big. You know what I'm saying? Tayshaun Prince was going to guard. And so when you got those guys, you put them on the floor and you let them know, like, this is what you do. and then they embrace it, and you get them guys to believe in star in it, and then you can, I guess you can shut a Cooper flag down, but you're more equipped to handle that when certain guys embrace their role and want to star in that role.
Right. That's why it's important, man. Like the stat lines, it's like, man, it's about winning, and once you understand what it takes to win, all that other stuff, you like getting lost in the game is the most beautiful thing. Like, when you're not even you like, because you know what that scoreboard is at Moody, right? Like, you know, when you shoot a shot, you turn around, you can look up and see how many you got. Like, I've done it once or twice, but it's like once you have games where you're not even focused about what's going on up there, and you're totally within the 94 feet, you're able to see your full and true potential come out. And I think that's one of the ways, like, worked with a couple guys on court, and I just kind of talked to them, like, stop worrying about what it is you think you should be doing. Just do what you are called to do when you're out there. So, I think it's kind of the same thing with UNC.
Hold on, one more thing on the do game, man. One more thing on the do game. No. I will say, man, I'm really proud being from Dallas. If you look at the people in attendance, we had some big time rappers in the building against the Duke game. We had Big X Plug Montana. We had Big Tuck, the legend, Dallas legend, Coach Hart. He got the Dallas artists to come in, and that's cool, man. To try to build that environment and build that culture, for them to embrace the city and for the city to embrace us back. So that's me being from Dallas, man. It was cool to see.
Man, that's
you had Lively in the building. Parsons in the building. You had some big names in the building.
And that's what I'm saying in Dallas, and just what they're building over there, and but you can bring them out. You know what I'm saying? Right. And winning brings the fans, winning brings the supporters, but winning is what, like, it draws them, but at the same time it sells tickets. But what really people are attached to is just the interpersonal workings of how we're able to take skill set and bring, like, energy to other people. So, like, our skill set literally brings, like, somebody can walk out of there more confident just by coming to that game. Somebody can walk out of there, have a bad day, come watch SMU basketball, get a win, see good energy and good basketball, sharing the ball, and like, man, like, I feel way better today. So, and that's what our base of fans want to see.
Yes. Right. Win or lose, they want to see that beautiful basketball. They want to see guys fighting to the buzzer. Yeah, fighting till the buzzer goes off. You know, because think of who's involved with SMU. They didn't get to where they're at by not working as a team. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or giving up. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's one of those things to where, man, you got so many eyes on you, seeing if you're gonna do the right thing.
Yep. So that's at 11-4, man.
And we still good, man. While we talking about this, we still good. Like, we still gonna go on a win streak. Yeah.
You know? Exactly. And it don't even hurt at all.
Right.
So so the UNC game, lost 82 to 62. I mean, 82 to 67. We're 11-4. RJ Davis scored 26 points. We started off in a zone, kind of just try to slow him down, give him a different look. But like I said, just more high caliber players. But think about the environment. Think about the history at UNC. Like, to go play basketball in that arena, in that space, like, what would be on your mind? You know what I'm saying? With just the history that comes out of there and the people that have played in that gym. What's your mindset going into that game?
Man, I think for me, man, if I was playing, for me, it was to try to only worry about what I got to do, and that's either my matchup, stopping who I got to stop, or boxing out. I remember in the set, so I just remember what I need to work. So, because my main goal is to win the game. So you think about that stuff kind of after the game, in my eyes, like, oh damn, I got to play at Carolina, I got to play. But right now, my main thing is, okay, we're trying to win the game, so I got to do my job in order for us to win this thing. So whoever I got to guard or whoever I got to shut down or whatever, that's kind of my mindset going into it.
That's respect, yo.
Man, like, my preparation would have been kind of scout report, like Shawn saying, who I'm guarding, who the backup is, but then also knowing what my teammates and what their matchups are. You know what I mean? Because there is a lot of rotations, and playing in an environment like that to where they're used to winning. Going on the road, you kind of have to manage that 6 man, and that's the crowd. right? So that plays an important role on tempo and kind of understanding when we can push it and run, and then when we need to like settle down and make them guard a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Full possession. You know what I mean? So I think that would be kind of typically my mindset on knowing what our game plan was and tried to execute it the best we could.
Yeah. No, and that's and to that point, and speaking of scout report, and we can kind of just talk because obviously dropped the last 2 against Duke and UNC, 2 high-level teams, but with the team we have, we still are very solid and have an opportunity to continue to compete in the ACC. But every game is going to be a test, and every game is going to be an opportunity to either win or lose. So the mindset of the preparation that you all are speaking about in the scouting report, personally for me, seeing this team, I'm like, all right, you got Matt Cross, you got Boopy, you got Chuck coming in off the bench, you got BJ, and Big Fella down low, and even like our forwards, like with Matt and Trey Orr, like they play roles that will come in at the right time. But man, these guys have to run. Like Oquendo can get on the rim. You got guys that can get on the rim, even when like Keon or Colbert comes in, like rim runners and just like, you know what I'm saying, playing at that flow. I really like these guys when they're free flowing, playing with each other, kicking it ahead, and trying to get to the rim. And if they don't get to the rim, kick it out, swing, shot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It should be next.
You want to play quick. You like to see more transition points.
Right. Unless we absolutely either they score on us and we have to go in the half, but as much as we
ball situation, something.
Exactly.
But we all know in order for us to run, what we got to do first is get stops. And that's the I ain't gonna say the issue with that. That's where we run into trouble at that sometimes. In order for us to do all that, because we do got guys we got a bunch of guys that can shoot, got a bunch of guys that can get on the rim. But in order for us to do all that, we got to get stops and multiple stops. Not just one, but like we always used to say, 3 in a row. Once you get multiple ones, and then you shut them down, and then you get, throwing the oops up to Jarrey Foster and getting them to go dunking. Now the crowd going crazy, but you gotta get the stops first. Yeah, gotta get the stops.
Gotta have stops, man. Yes, sir, man.
That's what I said, man. I had to read them games, and after Dre got that dunk, I had to let the machine gun go.
Oh yeah,
I had to shoot up the place, boy.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Coach Jank's favorite shot.
You know what I'm saying?
he hated transition threes, boy.
Man, you talk about the practices, like that's why I love Jank, like playing for LB and Jank, just the differences in practices. And fans, I'm sure like y'all want to hear insight and just about our experience of playing and to play for different coaches and have how do we actually develop? Like we talk about insight and talk about all this on the court of performance and when y'all actually see us play, but like what's going on the back end? Like how are we actually developing? Do you all understand what days look like for us? Going to school, waking up, you got your already personal pressures that you wake up with, and then you got to kind of put those down to the side and suppress those to go get classwork done, go get a weight room, lift in, treatment, film, you know what I'm saying? You still got to eat. Then, you know what I'm saying? You still got to get your personal player development in, and then practice, and then extra shots. And then, so like that right there lets you know the ability of a student athlete, but at an athlete overall being able to be multidimensional. How does that play a role? And do y'all have any like experiences within Crum that y'all can remember that really helped y'all develop into a good basketball player, or just any story about practice or something that you think the fans will want to hear about just the back end work that we put in?
If they ever want to know why the Larry Brown and Jank teams was so good, well, I speak on LB. Jank was there, but I didn't play when he was the head coach. Man, and all y'all can speak on this. We would have these long 3.5, 4-hour practices, and I played for Rick Barnes and I played for Matt Doherty. It wasn't necessary practice. It was more like school. It was class.
Yes, it was.
Brown would stop it every 2 minutes, and he would teach and as a player, you might not like it, but after a while, you start realizing, oh, this is why we're able to do certain stuff, because it wasn't a free-flowing practice. Every 30 seconds, he would stop it. You should have did this. This is what you need to do. This is how you should do it. And after a while, it gets drummed into your brain. on how to be a good basketball player and how to swing the ball and how to get it to the third side and how to be in the help side and how to jump to the ball and all that stuff. So he kind of beats it in your head. 3 hours of him going over the same stuff over and over and over again.
Yep. I mean, you said it all, because that's exactly how it was, you know. The only thing I could really say is he didn't let us play basketball. He showed us how to play basketball.
Right. That's a good
you know
one.
what I mean?
That's a good one.
So I mean, but like, we were so fortunate, man.
Yeah.
Right.
You know how lucky we are to be able to play for him.
Man.
You know what I mean? And Coach Jenk. It's a little different though, because Coach Jenk was the same thing, but he was okay with letting things play out.
Right.
And then explaining it. Right.
Yeah. Let you hoop.
Coach Brown, you stepped with the wrong foot, boy. You was going back. Rewind.
Right.
Yep.
You know,
that balance was good.
Yes, it was.
Balance was really, really good, man. And life is about balance. SMU basketball is about balance, and man, we're continuing to balance this podcast, and just want to continue to bring the fans in and consistently let them know what the landscape of SMU basketball is looking like, how our players are developing on and off the court, and continuing just to connect as much as we can. But this is our first opportunity, first year, and we just want to tell everybody thank you for being a part and listening. And this will continue to grow. And you got 3 fellas here who's giving you legendary performances on the floor, and we will not stop short of that here on this podcast. So this is just the beginning. Episode 5. We have a lot in store. Nick, Shawn, man, I thank y'all, man, for another great episode.
Yeah. So, it's like you said in the start, man. Thanks for everybody being patient with these holiday schedules and not lining up. So,
that's
appreciate that.
That's love. Well, then, another episode of Opponent Hoops Insight. It's episode 5. New year, more hoops insight. Let's make it a great year. And shout out to the SMU men's basketball team, Coach Infield, and everybody that's a part. Thank y'all.
Yeah.